Dragon Dragon, an adapted version, Part 3, the Youngest Son. Now the cobbler's youngest son saw that his turn had come. He was very upset and nervous, and he wished he had never been born. He was not clever like his eldest brother, and he was not strong like his second eldest brother. He was a decent, honest boy who always listened to old people. He borrowed a suit of armor and a sword. Both were so heavy the youngest son could hardly walk. "Well, father, I'm off to slay the dragon. Have you any advice for me?" The cobbler told the youngest son exactly what he had told the others. "When, and if you come to the dragon's lair, recite the following poem. Dragon, dragon, how do you do? I've come from the king to murder you. Say it very loudly and firmly, and the dragon will fall, God willing, at your feet." "Are you certain?" asked the youngest son uneasily. "Yes," said the wise old cobbler. And so the youngest son set forth on his quest. The dragon saw the cobbler's youngest son while he was still a long way off. He was seated up above the door, inside the cave, waiting and smiling. After about 20 minutes, the dragon became impatient and craned his neck out the door to look. There stood the youngest son. He was trembling so hard his armor rattled. As loudly and firmly as he could manage, the youngest son cried, "Dragon, dragon, how do you do? I've come from the king to murder you." "What?" cried the dragon, flabbergasted. "You?" All at once the dragon began to laugh, pointing at the cobbler's youngest son. "Ha ha 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 ha!" he roared, shaking all over. The dragon fell to the ground on its back. "It's a good poem," said the cobbler's youngest son loyally. "My father made it up." And growing angrier, he shouted, "I want you to stop laughing, or I'll... With one supreme heave, the youngest son held up the sword, and because it was so heavy, the sword fell on its own, slicing off the dragon's head. The dragon lay dead. The two older brothers crawled out and thanked their younger brother for saving their lives. "We have learned our lesson," they said. "I'm glad I listened to my father," the youngest son thought. "Now I'll be the richest man in the kingdom." When they managed to reach the kingdom, the youngest son was able to wed the princess and even return the lost book of magic spells to the old wizard. The end.